I want to also kind of like on that topic, build on that, talk about dating. How do you think, start with a very simple question. What do you think of the current dating sphere? If you had to look at it as like an anthropologist, kind of like look at society currently where we are and just like look from the outside looking down, what do you think of the current dating, I guess, culture?
Oh my God. Starting saying that I'm not an expert, obviously.
Neither am I, by the way. So we're going to have a lot of uninformed opinions, but, you know, our own opinion.
Obviously, I can only speak from my personal direct experience as a queer woman living in London. I think, especially talking about our generation, I think from what I observed, we are very fucking scared. And I think it's a result to possibly the pandemic.
Yes.
Possibly us being glued to our phones.
Yes.
And there's definitely been a loss of the habit and the skills of socializing in public spaces with strangers, because obviously it's easy to socialize with your friends. And I think that caused all a like a ripple in dating in general, because I believe, first of all, we're not comfortable with engaging anymore. Obviously, I'm not talking about the guy harassing girls in the bar. I'm talking like, you know, just approaching strangers, because that's how connections used to be made. Like if you ask the older generations, it's always like we meet at a dance, we met at a bar, or we meet at a comedy club. You know what I mean? So I think people don't do that anymore. Also, again, disclaimer: we live in a city where the culture, I think, is very individualistic. So obviously that doesn't help, because everybody just stands by themselves and doesn't really interact with others unless it's necessary. The other thing I would say is I feel very scared of making those claims, because this is, again, just...
It's fine. You're allowed to do it on here. It's fine.
My experience. I think there's an avoidance of intimacy that is very interesting, because at the same time, intimacy, it's just on a click of a button on your phone, but it's a very superficial kind of intimacy. When then it gets to like actually approaching and having a connection with a person, it gets very awkward very fast, and that's why people withdraw so easily, and that's why we see things like ghosting, or we see things like people engaging in hookup culture even when they don't enjoy it, because I think only a very small percentage actually thrive on it. I don't think it's the main setting as it is right now, which is quite scary. And yeah, I think I also, you know what, sometimes, so I've been dating for not a while, but like some time. And whenever I tell my stories to my friends that have been in long-term relationships, they get so shocked. They're like, I can't believe they behave this way. They were really mean to you. And my reaction is like, oh no, that's quite normal.
You've normalized it.
So it's quite weird.
It's fascinating.
What is your...
I mean, a lot of what you said I agree with. I think, I think adding that to that point, I think we've kind of weirdly reflected the digitalization of, I guess, relationship and love, where on one hand it is intimate because we were talking all the time, and it's almost like, because there's these things like fast love, where it's like love bombing, because we want to kind of like represent the idea of it's close intimacy and connection, but we don't have the time to kind of let it build, you know, like let it build, like it starts with a friendship first, or like, you know, then you move, even if it's not a friendship, like develop that kind of the symptoms of a friendship, where it's like you trust each other and you believe, and you like, you know, you're not going to ghost the person. So it's like, it's very much, we've adopted new ways of, I guess, like interacting in this like social dynamic because of dating or whatever, because, you know, everything's kind of updating, but we've not understood the basics almost of like, okay, wait, do I actually like this person? Or like how, like, do I like myself first? You know, it's like the building blocks of what it takes to connect with a person has been lost. And I completely agree with you, because that shows a ripples effect of like how people interact on dating apps, or how people interact in real life. And it's not even starting to affect connections between the genders or whatever, like between like people, you know, just outside, you know, when people meet people, they're very much skeptical. You know, initially you're skeptical. If someone approaches you, it shows interest in you, you're going to be skeptical. So wait, what? Because you have experiences of people showing interest in you for their own goals and their own things, and there's things like, you know, I feel, you know, but I want to talk about how we get out of that, because I know the problems in dating have been kind of like talked about for so long.
Good point.
And everyone always makes that point, and then they go, okay, yeah, but like, you know, I don't know, I'm just gonna go back into it because what am I gonna do, you know?
Yeah.
But I feel like if we don't dissect it, you know, like take it apart and go, actually, wait, I see what the problem is. This thing is not working. Let's actually fix this thing, and then maybe we can put it back together.
Yeah.
On that point, actually, what do you think is the one thing, if you take it apart like a machine, you look at it's like, this thing is not working, guys. We got to fix this first.
So obviously it's not going to change overnight, but I think one key point is people have to start educating themselves on like not only their own emotional like well-being, but also just like their emotional skills towards others. And maybe a little bit of like ethical education there, because for example, there's this columnist called Dan Savage, and again, just listening to him, I think it could give the average person quite some, at least like a good toolkit, not only to preserve their own emotional well-being, but also how to preserve others, because that's what I think it's a big chunk of dating, but people tend to ignore that because people, again, tend to just think about themselves, right? And it's one of his rule that he coined or whatever, like he gave this name to this practice. It's the campfire rule or campsite rule, I can't remember. And you're like, what the fuck is that? Basically, the idea is to leave the place that you just allocated yourself for the holiday or whatever in a better condition that you found it for the next person, right? So I think, and I sound silly with the campsite analogy, but my point is, I do think you should, when it comes to dating, you should leave the person in a good enough condition, like a better condition than what you find them, instead of a worse one. Because I think most of the times, especially when maybe you had just a casual connection, people are like, yeah, but I don't owe you anything. And it's like, but you do though.
Yeah, absolutely.
You do owe it to the other person to be kind, to be considerate. And, you know, it takes more labor, but it's the right thing to do. But the point is, if people don't know, for example, I think sometimes just having the name of something really helps to make it stick to your mind. Because if people don't even know about that, maybe they're not gonna consider it. That doesn't make them a bad person. It's just hearing that and thinking, yeah, I should incorporate that kind of practice because it's the right thing to do.
It's the very basics too. It's funny. It's like, oh yeah, treat people in a good way and leave them. But I get it, and I think, you know, even focusing deeper on that, I think the reason why people don't do that a lot of the time is because it's easier to be mean to people on your phone.
Or just not. For example, the ghosting thing. I understand the appeal because it's hard to say to somebody, hey, this is not clicking, I don't want to see you anymore, because it feels very mean. And so I think that's where it comes in, the idea of, okay, but if I disappear silently, they're not going to notice and it's going to be fine. That's never the case. Unless they never cared about you, then I guess, okay, that's no harm done.
Yeah.
But I think the moment we get comfortable with being uncomfortable,
yes,
and we do the right thing, I think the dating market or whatever, I hate that word, like the dating sphere, let's say, it's gonna improve a little bit. And I think I have to say I have noticed a little bit of changes. Usually that is related to the age of the person I'm seeing. But for example, I noticed there's a little bit more transparency now what people say they want. Obviously, you can never like take it 100% granted, but I think it has gonna normalize, for example, to say I'm looking only for casual connections. And for example, when I was exploring dating when I was a teenager, because I think it was very normal. You know, the term fuckboy was quite popular back then, because this is making me feel old. But it was quite popular back then because it was very normal, or it was very known between girls of guys pretending to want something when it wasn't the case. So I think maybe there was a slight improvement that happened from the 2015 to now, but now we have other problems, I guess.
I mean, I think that was actually a ricochet effect of what we have now, because guys pretending to care about girls like that, and then doing that made it so now this generation don't trust. They're grown up and they're like, I don't even trust what you're saying, even if it's real. I'm gonna protect myself first, and so it's like, and it makes it difficult because obviously vulnerability is so important to connection. You know, you have to be able to just, you know, lay your heart open a little bit, let the other person. You know, I think we really struggle to be vulnerable in our generation. You know, I think with people that we know for a long time, yes, we've kind of got better like that. But with people that we're trying to build a relationship with, it's very hard for us to do that. And I think it's all connected to intimacy. And like, you know, I was thinking about the idea of like, you know, talking to people all the time is being replaced for genuine connection. You know, like building like time, you know, how we look at time in connection. You know, it's like, if I text you every day for a month,
oh my God,
it's not the same thing as I've texted you maybe whatever for a year. You know, we got to invest the time into these things, but it's all, again, everyone does it. So how are you supposed to be the one person that goes, actually, I'm not going to do that. If you text me, I'm going to ignore you, or like, you know, whatever, I'm going to take my time replying to you. It's all going to be viewed in a certain type of way, you know?
Yeah, but also I find that like it's a double-bladed sword, because it's so easy to get that fake sense of intimacy when you have that constant texting with somebody.
Absolutely.
And we got so used to this instant gratification of like, oh, what do you do? Oh, I'm here. Or and like it can be in touch so much, which yeah, it's nice, I guess. And I think it is important in the current modern dating dynamics, because, for example, whenever I say to my friends like, oh, I'm starting to see this guy, like we met a couple of times, the first thing they ask me is, did he text you today? I promise you. Just, I wish we did not give a texting so much value, but it is an element. I think even subconsciously, if you let me know, like if you have a girl that really checks on you, like maybe every day or maybe every couple of days, you're gonna think, yeah, she's really into me, no?
I'm different. I think I'm very abnormal. I don't text at all. I'm very bad. I think that's probably my issue. I don't know. Maybe because I don't view. Maybe because I haven't met the right person. That's like on the line of that. But like, I don't view constant texting as a replacement for genuine time. You know, maybe, you know, I like, if I spent time with you, that matters to me more than if you message me all the time, because I'm not going to message you all the time. And it's not that I don't care, because like, I'll call you and we have a conversation. Maybe I value deep conversations rather than short snippets of conversations that, you know, kind of appear to be deep, you know. I think, but again, I can see why someone would say the opposite. You know, someone who's found value in conversation and texting would say that this person is not texting me means they don't care about me, because the last person that did that, that's how they showed they cared. So it's like, we're facing people, when it's, you know, people got different ways of appearing to show that they care, but we're not understanding that. But we just kind of go have this like kind of like set boundaries. Oh, if you don't text me, you don't care about me, you know. So it makes it very difficult. Would you go on?
No, please.
I was gonna say, like, on top of that, I know your Substack is called the Sex Chat. So what do you think about how the dating and like sex and how it's all been intertwined, and what effect do you think that's kind of having on us?